Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming, and Happy New Year 2021. And this is the first video of the year, hopefully, and it's been the first video for a long time. 2020 was disruptive for everybody, so my disruption's nothing special, but hopefully some things are resolved and I can get back to doing some videos and other good things and just enjoying, and hopefully for everybody 2021 will be a bit better. Let's just hope that. Right, enough of that gaming. So in the last year, since I last did a lot of stuff, From the Depths has had a lot of changes, and some of the reasons I didn't do videos, apart from anything else, was changes happening were causing me to having to redo it, and I basically took a break because I thought let's wait until things are stabilised, and in November they did a full release and some changes have happened just to keep everything, I think, working well. So I think we're at a stage where we can start rebuilding ships and looking at campaigns, etc. And I have been mucking around with a few bits. So I mean, most areas have had changes. Blocks, there's new blocks all over the place, some buffs, but nothing major. Biggest change, which had variable, what should we say, reception in the what used to be the forums, and we've no longer got the old forums because they've gone, which is a totally different rant, but it's a pity they have gone. But anyway, resources are now different. We haven't got resources, ammo, fuel. There is just resources, and the way it works, how storage, ammo, and how the refinery works as a central thing, it's very different. I've got used to it and I can understand it. Do I agree with it? For some reasons yes, some reasons no, but it's irrelevant because that's the way the game is, so I just have to go with it. So that's one big change that we will go through. Not now, but we'll have to look at how that works. Fuel engines. Now, some changes to fuel engines. Some actually I do definitely agree with, especially the way some people had their fuel engines were beloved. They'd spent so much time making the ultimate fuel engines. I think some people didn't like these to be changed, but I agree with a lot of the ideas that turbos and superchargers now just increase power rather than affecting efficiency. I think that is actually more engineeringly correct, because that is the way they do it. They create more power, but it just depends how much more power they create by using more material at certain revs. So there's a whole new paradigm to go through with fuel engines and making them efficient, or and how to use the power from them. And again, they don't use fuel, although you still need fuel tanks, but it uses resources. Just the fuel tanks convert resources into fuel to be used by the engines. Yeah, but we'll go through that. Steam engines. So steam engines have had a pass, some very nice new blocks. I like the new valves. I like the way we can now, I haven't done it here, but use this output to create triple expansion and other more than triple expansion to make a more efficient steam engines, and these new electric additions to the steam engine parts again, so we don't actually need a steam engine. We could use electrical and or fuel engines to effectively power what would have been the propellers, etc., on a steam engine like that. That is more akin to the way I see design. There's a few bits here I wish you could maybe on some of them daisy chain them a little bit. You can't do that at the moment, but anyways, that's a new good change. Simple weapons, apart from stats, fairly much the same. There is this new one which I haven't really looked at too much, but I'm guessing let's just try and get it. Yeah, it's I know it's different. It's a bit of a. It's not really realistic. It's a comical gun, really. And just whilst I'm having that big noise there, I'll point out there's some problems with my audio at this moment. I'm going to have to work out. The voice has got a high pitch that I'm going to have to filter out, but also with repetitive noises, the way when the repetitive noises are reduced, it tends to be putting in a stutter or some sort of ticking into the audio. So that's annoying. When I walk away from, I don't know if anyone else has it, or whether it's, I tried it on my built-in headphones as well as my USB headphones, and it's doing the same. When I go into an area, there's a ticking noise in the background until the sound reduces, the repetitive sounds. If I put the repetitive sounds onto 0, I don't know if it's to do with steam or petrol engines. Anyway, it's just bloody annoying. Anyway, what I get, simple weapons. We'll go through them. Crams, new way of doing crams. I like it. It's a simpler, it's basically the same layout. It just makes it easier going on to here into cram settings and adjusting all of the pellet factors rather than actually having to change the blocks. You can do it in one place and then copy that to different guns. Again, I like it. Good little bit that we can use. Advanced cannons, pretty much the same. Some new cooling shapes, so you can make the coolings as corners rather than just having the 2-way. There is new 5-way, 4-way, and just corners. Looks a lot nicer. Can be used. Otherwise, though, relatively similar to what we'd had before. Nothing majorly changed that I could see. There was a few bits with guns with synchronization and a few bits which we can go through on certain guns. Missiles. Now missiles. I've always liked missiles, and this particular one's now has these new transmitters to allow your cluster missile to be separate from the actual smaller clustered missile. So these two are actually joined using this transmitter and receiver, or you could have missile systems rather than being right next to each other. You could have another missile like this, say a few squares away, and not have to join it with connectors. You can join it instead with these transmitter and receivers, and they all take, effectively it joins them to this controller. So whenever this fires, it fire everything else or whatever else is needed for that particular missile system. There is also, for those when HE really needs, is the new huge missiles. When large was not large enough, we now have huge. Enough said about that. That is basically ICBM levels, really, of missile. Yes, definite big boom with those. And lasers. We've a few nice little block changes. I've never been a great one for lasers, I must admit. It's never been my particular... Whoops, that went a little bit more than I thought. But some interesting new parts. Oh, that huge missile's going into literally an ICBM at the moment. I didn't put any guidance on it. So some block changes in missiles, but not hugely dramatic, enough to, what should we say, be interesting. So overall, with basic dynamics of the game changing, and the main thing is in the campaigns, there's all new ships using all of these weapons, and I think most of them have been rebuilt at some point. So what is my plan? Well, this one's just an intro to say hi, I am around and I want to get back into this, but I've got a few choices. One area, I've never done the adventure mode. It's not my particular, I take a long time building things, so maybe building things in an adventure stream, maybe something I will do just to look at things, and I've never actually even tried the adventure mode, so maybe that's worth it. Also, the other area is doing the Netta campaign. Now I'd like to go for it at the different levels, so starting easy, pushing it up in each faction so we see all the different ships that you go against, and because I like to build historical ships, I have been working on a few ships for this area. Let me just sort out their navigation. So an area with ships I would like to look at for the campaign is one people like but I haven't seen too much of, is the German Navy. Now, going back to the first Imperial Navy, the Kaiserliche Marine, which was pre-World War One, with like this example torpedo boat I've got here. I've just got a cruiser here that likes crashing because the AI still doesn't understand how not to crash into each other. I might have to add some code in my ships, I think, now to stop them basically trying to hump each other. Anyway, and battleships like the Kaiser Frederick I have here. So I'd like to go through those and then into World War One, and maybe into then the Reichsmarine after World War One, and eventually into the Kriegsmarine for World War Two, and then into the Federal German Navy post World War Two, into the modern German Navy. You know, that could be an interesting, doing some builds on either streams, or just recording some of the builds when I've got something that I want to meet up, but at the same time going through all of the items of the game, and seeing what the opponents are in Netta. There is one other area I'm looking at, so let me just get into the appropriate zone. Now, another area I hadn't actually looked at playing on, or I have looked at and I haven't done on videos before, is Ashes of the Empire, which is the prequel to Netta, Conquest of Netta, and is basically all about land combat. Now, we're not in the actual Ashes Empire, I've just found a bit of land similar, and what I thought would be nice is to go with the Imperial faction and do something somewhat more 40k based. Now, I've had to take a bit of a license, so I haven't managed to get a good infantry model, but if this was like a typically a guardsman sort of size, yes, the sizes are not right, but it sort of fits. And then you've got an auto cannon here, and this is like the ATV, the Taurus ATV version of the 40k, and then we've got Sentinel Walker. Now, I haven't got any good walking code at this second, so I have had to use wheels, but the legs do move through pistons to keep it balanced. Then we've got something like a Lehman Russ battle tank, and a Hydra anti-air vehicle. So yeah, and going through some more, the basilisks and some of the other armoured vehicles from 40k could be interesting. Some of the bigger tanks like the Baneblade and other big tanks. Now, I haven't reworked these yet for the new code. These are still all pre 3. Version 3. They were done almost in version 2, so they will need a bit of an update. This is my little hive city, and then of course over here we have the equivalent in size to what would be the Space Marine. So the basic standard Space Marine here, much bigger. Yes, not walking. It is just got a sort of semi-hover platform, and then Terminator here, very basically heavily armoured Marine, and it's wheels only because it's too bloody heavy to fly, going up into a Dreadnought. Yes, again, the legs do move to keep its balance, but to drive it along, it has got wheels. Again, using small wheels. Potentially I should upgrade this to the new larger size wheels now that they're available in this version. And I started on, here was a knight. Started working on it, except it's just got a bit bouncy and basically possibly needs a bit of an update. And although the scale's a little wrong, this would be a Warhound. But one problem I found with the Ashes of the Empire is if you did something to scale, so these are sort of they're not to scale, but if you take that as the scale of a marine, then the dreadnought and the knight would be upscaled about correctly. Anyway, a warhound would be bigger than the knight. So this little early version, this was for testing some walking code I was trying to use, and it basically didn't work. So that's when I started just going for wheels and decided to do everything wheeled. If someone has got some very good two-legged walking code, let me know, but I think that possibly a wheeled area. Anyway, that's another idea, because I know there's a lot of people like 40k. I've always been a fan of it myself, and it would be difficult to make it work in Ashes of the Empire, but I think it's doable. Anyway, let me know what you think, which one. I might do a little bit of everything, but all three, etc. But I think first of all I might do the Netta campaign whilst I'm rebuilding and getting some of the 40k ready, and the adventure mode, because I've never done it before. There's things that need to be changed, like this was a hive city I even built with lots of fuel production, etc., which is no longer needed, and energy and ammo production and everything, which is no longer needed for a hive city. But maybe I can work it a different way. I really don't know at this moment. We'll have to look at what works in the campaigns, etc., using the new code. Leave comments down below. Be good to get back to doing some videos. I'm going to try and sort out buying some new sound equipment, maybe some new headphones, see if I can get rid of these high-pitched whines that are in the video before I start doing any proper recording. I'll order some next week. We'll see if it is that or if it's the main system. If it's the main system, oh, that's to be problematic, but I don't see why it would be if it's not these headphones. The other little bit with the ticking is actually the game. I don't know if anyone else has got that one, but it seems to be not happening every place. I don't think I'm getting it here, so it's difficult to know sometimes. Sometimes I get a ticking and sometimes I don't, so it's difficult to say on occasion as to which bit is causing the problem. Anyway, that's all part of doing videos and playing games for YouTube. Oh, don't we just love that? Anyway, until next time, let me know down below, but keep playing the game and have fun.